Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Blank, and I'm a Director of Alumni Engagement at Regis. I'm excited to welcome you to the Office of Alumni Engagement's first webinar. Due to a technical glitch, the original webinar did not record. This is a re-recording of the presentation itself only. Therefore, there will be no question and answer session on this version. It's now my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Karen Adducci. Karen has worked in career development for 11 years and higher education for 21 years. She is a global career development facilitator and a career development specialist in Regis's Center for Career and Professional Development. She's also a double Regis alumna with her bachelor's in business administration and master's in management and organizational leadership. Today, Karen will talk about career transitions. Changing course in your career doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes we know we want to change, but we don't know where we want to go. Karen will share some stories and inspiration, ask you to reflect, challenge you to act, and provide some tools to help you think about and work through a career transition. Thank you, Karen, for sharing your expertise with us. Now, without further ado, Karen Adducci.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining in on the seminar today. I hope for the next 60 minutes you will feel challenged to consider new life possibilities, especially in terms of how you are contributing your skills, your interests, and your values to the world we live in. I'm going to look at the agenda for this afternoon. We will look at the new phase of life that we are entering. We'll talk a little bit about that. Talk about what's next. How many times have we asked ourselves, what is next in our life? We'll talk about triggers and transitions. Most important, developing a board of trustees or directors. We'll also look at developing a possibilities journal and the 6 practices that will become your roadmap. We are all participants in one of the most significant social movements of our times. We're creating a new phase of life. We are paving a more dynamic and exciting path, and we're living longer and we're staying here more so than any generation before. Whether by choice or by financial necessity, we are continuing to work long past the traditional retirement age. And most importantly, we are yearning to find that meaning and purpose that are still in our lives. We see this all the time, actually, in the Career Center. I recently had a gentleman that came in that had practiced law all his life, and then he decided that he wanted to work in nonprofit, and not as a legal counselor, but doing something really special for the society he lives in. Some of us, that means delving into favorite hobbies and interests and volunteer gigs. For others, it means possibly going back to school or traveling. And still for others, it means starting a business or embarking on a dream career. But for all of us, it really involves looking ahead and asking ourselves, what is next? Life Reimagined was created and written by Richard Lear and Alan Weber. It's a roadmap for the new normal, really, and the new choices that are in our lives. You'll also see a book up in front here that talks about transition, making sense of life's changes. This particular transitions book by William Bridges is no longer available on Amazon, but you could probably find it at the Regis Library. Life Reimagined you can order on Amazon, and I think you'll find that to be really, really helpful with some powerful, inspirational stories. But you'll also find that this message applies to the younger adults who really find themselves navigating major life transitions. But whatever your phase of life, the roadmap shows you how to find the inspiration and the courage to reimagine your direction, to reassess your gifts, and unlock your personal potential. What most people seem to expect is that by the time they reach a certain point in their lives, they would say, I was hoping at this point I'd have everything figured out, but we don't, because we have to keep figuring it out. What is different, though, is we have to look at a new story to replace the old story. Here's the old story. You'll see this image depicts the story most of us assume captures the reality of aging. And what it says is each of us starts off fresh and new, ready to learn and grow. We arch upward as we go through our early years and continue to grow until about the time of middle age. After that, we pass through middle age, we begin the process of decline that takes us into retirement, then old age, and oh my gosh, it's so depressing. And then finally, it's death. That just is not the story that any of us want to hear. Aha, but the new story, I think you'll agree, looks much better. We do. We start the same way, learning and growing, and it arches upward. But instead of falling back down, this dips a little bit, then it goes back up, and it continues to rise gently for an extended period of time. Then it levels off, and it finally falls at the end. This is what we are seeing now. There's a very important inspirational story I would love to have you take a look at, and Jennifer will send this out. It's a link about Jerry. Jerry he was actually an accountant all his life and decided that he really wanted something different when he got to his early 60s. Didn't know what that was. Till one day he ran into the fire chief in town, and he started to talk to him about what he wanted to do in his life. The fire chief said, "Come on down to the station. Let's have a chat." He has been a fire chief now. He's not a fire chief. He's been a volunteer for the fire department for a number of years. His story is extremely inspirational. I suggest you take a look at that link. What you'll find is that Jerry, just like everyone else, is on a plateau. Life is smooth. It's going just fine. Everything is great. And then all of a sudden, we get this trigger. We get this wake-up call. This is what we call limbo, that uncertainty. It's that it could be a conscious choice, or it could be an external event that really disrupts the comfortable status quo of our lives. Kicks us into this limbo, this uncertainty. We wonder what is going to be next. That's when we're forced to ask, what is next? We're not ready to open the new doors. These events can be internal, they can be external, they can be positive, they can be negative. And so when you think about what does that look like? Positive, it could be a new relationship, it could be launching a new startup, it could be going back to school. You're exercising choice and demonstrating curiosity and really acting with courage. And of course, it could be negative. We could have a medical diagnosis. We could have lost our jobs, or we could be surprised by an unexpected divorce. Another movie I wanted to talk to you about was The Pursuit of Happiness. If you haven't seen that, take a look at that. It's about Chris Gardner. And Chris was homeless, he had a child, and he struggled. But the inspiration that shows in this, in Will Smith is our main actor in this. He shows such courage. And by the time you're finished watching it, you want to get out there and do these things just like he did. This was a real person who struggled just like we did. So think about it for a minute. How do you respond when these triggers hit? I talked a moment ago about Will Bridges, the author of Making Sense of Life's Changes, and one very impactful piece in his book I'd like to read to you. The notion that you have to know what you want to do before you figure out how to do it offers people a convenient excuse for staying put, really refusing to explore possibilities. The reality is, you find the path by starting to walk the path. The only thing preventing you from finding out what you do, what you want to do, is you. Thinking about this, life imagined really is a reality check. The reimagining is a form of self permission to give yourself the freedom to roam into those new territories. They let us know that it's not exactly it's okay not to know exactly what you want to do next. And it's okay not to have the right answer right away. It's okay to end up in places you didn't really expect to get to. And it's okay to be confused. About the only thing that's not okay is to allow yourself to stay stuck in limbo permanently. So, one of the answers is don't go it alone. Isolation is fatal to reimagining your life. Think about who's there for you. I suggest creating a board of directors. This is actually your sounding board. This is a diverse group of people, each who plays a really different role. We have a committed listener, one who offers support and is willing to listen to you, can bounce ideas around. The other is a catalyst who helps you get outside of your comfort zone. They'll push you. The connector that plugs you into other resources, people, and opportunities. A trainer who holds you responsible for what you say you're going to do. And a mentor who helps you keep your eye on the long view and the big picture. What are these important relationships that have sustained you along the way? Who are the people that you can rely on for wise counsel or outside inspiration? Who gives you feedback that you can really put to good use? Who gives you or helps you resist the temptation to shy away from the discomfort that accompanies the hard questions? Think about those that are less interested in judging you and more interested in supporting you. Are you comfortable? Can you be transparent and open and courageous? Do they ask you great questions? You could also have a deceased person and have an imaginary conversation. You could ask yourself, how would she do this? What would she say about this choice? The next thought I would suggest is to write in a possibilities journal. This will help you connect the dots of your journey. It'll help keep track of your thoughts, and you'll be able to see and understand your progress. There's some questions to ask yourself to get started in that journal. At this point in my life, what gives me energy and what drains me? What are the deep and persistent tugs in my life that keep pulling on me? What doors in my life seem to be closing and which are opening? Pay attention to those dreams and those signs that you're receiving. Next are the 6 practices that we talked about. This is the roadmap. This is the powerful tool that will help you establish your directions and help move you to new possibilities. This is a guidance system that will help each of us find our way forward. You'll see it's reflect, connect, explore, choose, repack, and act. These are all guideposts. Let's go through each one. Reflect. Your mindset would be to see the present situation as a wake-up call and an opportunity. Think of reflection as a mini vacation from all those things that absorb us during the day. This is a call to pause before you start the journey and understand that change and choice occurs from within. Slow the world down. Take inventory of where you are, your place, the people you care about, your life's work and purpose. Connect. Realize you don't have to go it alone. If you recall in our early phases of adult life, lots of times we make a lot of connections with parents of maybe our children's friends, maybe at jobs, and then we leave the labor market. So this step is where you really request counsel from trusted friends. You enlist the people who will be your sounding board through your journey. Explore. Be curious and open. This step allows you to think broadly and honestly about the direction your life can take. Give your curiosity free rein. Think through potential paths and delight in imagining what is possible. Choose. Be courageous with optimism and possibility. Now it's time to whittle down your options and really narrow your choices. Do a reality check. Explore a smaller number of choices to see which fit your emerging sense of what's right for you. Carve out time and refuse to be interrupted, especially with our technology. Weigh your options and decide on a new way forward. Repack. Embrace the idea of letting things go and simplifying your life. Remove the obstacles. Think of it as baggage. This is a step of deciding what's essential for the road ahead, what to let go of, and what to keep. Act. Understand that getting stuck is really part of the journey. We're going through a process. Take action and use your sounding board, especially trust your gut. So, how will you get started? Possibly you are in the reflection step at this point. Maybe you're in the exploration. Maybe you're even ready to take action. But start where you are. Start with something easy. Maybe you can get on the internet and explore which classes are out there. You can also come into the Career Center and I would love to talk to you. We have other counselors here too. There's many things that you can do to start those little steps. Go out and buy your journal. Take one risk, one small risk. Maybe you can set up an informational interview with someone in the field that you know, that you really want to get more information about, that you might want to delve into. Call someone that you haven't really connected to in a really long time. And I have to ask you, which 3 risks are you willing to take now to discover your life possibilities? Write those down. So here's your action steps. Start your possibilities journal. Develop your board. Follow the 6 practices. Take a risk today. Come in and see us. We'll help you out with some of these possibilities. Thank you so much for joining in on the webinar today. I'd like to invite you to call our Career Center or go on to Career Link and set up an appointment. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Karen, for sharing your expertise with us. For anyone who is thinking about or going through a career transition, I hope you do take advantage of the fact that Regis Alumni can make appointments with Karen and other advisors in the career office. Also, you might be interested in our next webinar, which is scheduled for Tuesday, August 7 at noon Mountain Time. Global sales expert and Regis MBA alumna Scarlett Crawford will discuss how to network globally online. That's it for today. Thank you and have a good day.